Hallo, heute sind wir im Loro Park.
One point here is that people ask me, why do I work in a zoo? And they say to me, if you love animals, why do you work in a zoo? Well, modern zoos are not like zoos used to be. They're not iron bars and prison cells like we saw in the very early years. These days, zoos are very modern education centres, and they're natural habitats. And if you're going to work in a zoo, let's hope that it's a very good zoo. And if you're going to work in a zoo, you make sure your zoo is the very best zoo. And that's why I'm here at Loro Park, because it is the best zoo in the world. And this zoo has such an education program and an enrichment program and breeding programs that help us to research these animals, because we'd never know what these birds are doing in the wild. It would be very, very hard to understand, you know, even from peers. How do they breed? Why do they breed? Do they breed with one or two partners? How many partners do they have? How many eggs do they have? In what seasons do they breed? You know, what really do they eat? What parasites can they get? What bacteria can they get? Can we treat them? What can we treat them with? What preventative medicines can we use? What preventative foods can we use? Same with the gorillas and the chimpanzees. And, you know, we're all about prevention here, and preventative medicines, or looking at foods and the diets and how we can prevent these animals from having perhaps liver problems or kidney problems or having kidney stones. We triple filter all of our water here, so that the water here is as pure as it can be without having salts and calciums that really can cause trouble for a lot of animals. And people that work in zoos will know this. You know, we have a lot of trouble with big cats that don't get enough taurine. Well, taurine is an amino acid. We need to give them meat with the skin on. Okay, and people say, well, you know, that's horrible, why are you feeding them meat? Well, they eat meat in the wild. We can't turn a lion into a vegetarian, you know, but people expect us to do this. Oh, it's very cruel that you feed them a whole chicken. But they need to have a whole chicken. They need to eat the intestines from a cow, or need to eat the meat with the skin on it, or the whole head without the brain, obviously. But people need to know that these animals in the wild would eat this. And they'll eat, you know, let's say maybe once a week, or maybe twice a week, if they can catch their prey. Well, here lions get fed 5 times a week. One day a week we'll give them bones, and then we'll have a starve day for them. Twice a week we might be giving them some offal, some liver, or some lung, or some heart. We might be giving them the next day some intestine. Or on the next day we might be giving them some rump with some skin on it, some hide. But they need the skin. They need the full whole diet. It's no good giving them frozen meat, because this isn't what they eat in the wild. So in zoos, modern zoos such as Loro Park, we're trying to understand through these animals how to keep them alive and how to keep them better. And as we all know, Senor Kiesling, you know, has got animals and birds that is saved from being extinct. Through the awareness and through the education programs, and it's all through education. Without education and awareness, we haven't got a hope. And there's so many species of animals and birds that are going extinct every week. You know, every day you could point to a plant or to an animal that's extinct because we're making room for highways, or making room for palm oil or something, you know, we're fracking. We don't know what we're doing. But at least in the zoos, we have these animals, and they're in natural habitats, and we can look after these animals as best we can. And so when people ask me, why do I work in zoos, and why am I in Spain, why aren't I back in sunny New Zealand or in Australia or somewhere else? Well, you know, as I've said to you, I'm in the best zoo in the world with some of the best people around the world working with me. And I'm very, very lucky to have a wonderful vet team, and all of our curators and all of our research scientists. You know, we all talk, we're all friends, and we all swap our information. And we swap it with institutions, we swap it with other vets, we swap it with other zoos. We talk within each other, and it's amazing how much we learn each week. And in many cases, you know, there's so much goes on behind the scenes here, and so much work that all our curators and our people are doing to make these birds have a happy life, as if they're sitting in their own home, in their own area, in their own habitat. As you can see with the ice, broccoli, melon, carrot, and these birds will play with us all day long. We're very lucky here if we have a nice cold winter or cooler winters. These guys breed very quickly and quite nicely. If it's a little bit too warm, they don't like the warmer areas, or the warmer months, even though they have been born here. But still we have a breeding success rate. But we're learning, okay, they're breeding in the colder seasons, they're not breeding when it's too hot, so then we can give them cooler nest boxes, or we can look at putting air conditioners into areas like our penguins and our whole penguin area. I mean, you know, we're 12 ton of snow getting made every day. And it's a big job, and it's all air conditioned. It's sitting there for all these animals and all these birds in their natural habitats, as we talk about the king penguins and the chin straps, you know, and the Humboldts, and they're all sitting with this as if they're sitting in Antarctica or they're sitting in their own habitats at home. So, you know, this is why I'm working at Loro Park, and this is why I work in zoos, because the major zoos of the world are all looking this way. And it's not about the dollar, because people think, oh, you're in the zoos and you're all making lots of money from the customer walking through the door. Well, let me tell you, it's very expensive to run a zoo, and it's very expensive to feed all these birds and all these animals, and especially the orcas and the dolphins. You know, the tons of fish every week that they get fed, it just doesn't drop out of the sky. But we're learning, and we're learning that they eat squid, or they eat whiting, or how much histamine's in there, how much peroxide's in there. We do all the testing of the vegetables to find out there's no pesticides. And we don't use pesticides here because we grow everything ourselves, and we're very, very careful about this. But we can't be too careful, so we do test still, because sometimes there might be a little bird that's come by and done a little feces on something, and there might be some bacteria that's come in there, or some sort of a fungal that's come across from another animal, or there might be a rat that's come by to come and visit us, or a little mouse. So again, we have to have all of these programs underway and looked at and attended to. So it's very, very interesting working in zoos, and it's very, very exciting to work with a zoo like Loro Park, because Mr. Kiesling has this vision of conservation and science and putting it all together so that we can study these animals and really understand what they're about. So it's not a carnival, it's not a circus, it's not a sideline, it's what we do. This is our lives, and we work, most of us, 12-15 hour days, because this is what we do and enjoy it.
Schreibt jetzt eure Frage in die Kommentare, und wenn euch das Video gefallen hat, würde ich mich über ein Like sehr freuen. Wenn ihr kein neues Video mehr verpassen wollt, könnt ihr unseren Kanal kostenlos abonnieren.